G'day, welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Billionaire Ninjas and Agrid. How is both of you gentlemen doing today?
It's a
How
good
are you?
day.
It's a day. There you go. I'm
So,
alive.
so we were talking about making our own packs, and then Billionaire Ninja had watched that and decided to make his own show on it, and then reminded us that we should do it, and so we just went and grabbed him and said, you can join us and do it as well. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This is kind of like an FMF, I guess, in a weird way, but we're building our own fleet as a pack is kind of how I've approached this episode. Is that kind of how you guys have approached it?
No.
Absolutely.
All not in agreement. Perfect. I love it. Right. All right. So, Agrid, you're going to be the first cab off the rank. So, tell us about what you've done.
Okay. So I tried to look at what I would want in a pack if I was starting off again, and I looked at the gameplay or the things that really pulled me into Star Citizen in the first place. It wasn't the pew pew. It was actually the Crucible was one of the ships that was the only repair ship back in the day, and it was the ship that pulled me in. It was the ship healer, the one that looks after the ship, maintains and repairs ships.
Where's the nurser? Oh, sorry. Okay.
And so I went with the repair mode. Now I was tempted to do a first responders pack or the essential support, and that would have been medical and repair and refuel. And as I started to do that, you end up with this massive 50 ship fleet. And so I decided to just stick with roadside assist. And so the pack is really built around the Crucible being the pinnacle. If you read or believe the original Matrix of Lies, this is a ship that was intended or could be used as for a solo player. So a crew of one. It's why the bridge rotates. But it is also a ship that has space for a crew of 8. It's got the Scarab, which can be dropped down and function as a garage. It's also got the ability to repair ships and work as a hangar for a single fighter.
Yeah.
So it is the penultimate repair ship. But if you're starting off, and it's also $350, which is an absolute bargain because it hasn't gone up from its concept price. Eventually that'll go up. But you may not want to take out your great big massive capital repair ship, or ship you use to repair big things, and you might just be wanting to do something smaller. So there's a Vulcan there which just uses the drones. Again, the Crucible's got drones. It's got all the repair features. The Vulcan's there because it's just roadside assist. Then you've got the SRV because you might just want to do tow service. And then I've got the MPUV tractor because the original MPUV did have repair type arms, and it's just a chuck in. So it's just repair.
Gotta be honest, I'm actually kind of surprised it's not a pack they've kind of really offered, because that really is a repair pack. What you've essentially stated.
Yeah.
I'm surprised actually now I think about it. The other thing I'm thinking of why you're doing that is that we can talk about a little bit before we move on to ninjas is what do you guys think a good pack is? And I think for me, a good pack is not, have these things are they have like a complete pack.
Yep.
I don't think a pack should be a complete thing. I think the only time it would be a complete pack is if you added multiple packs together. I think most packs should be something you build off. So you either, like you've done here, where you've picked a gameplay of repair, and you then build off into other things. And mine is kind of a bit like that when we get to mine as well, where it doesn't include everything, but like you would buy that and then you could add 1 or 2 or 3. And I'll explain that when I get to mine as well. But yeah.
If I was looking to something to add to this, to expand on repair, it'd be a Vulture or a Reclaimer, because the Vulture harvest, both those ruins, wrecked ships and stuff. That gives you the resources you need to repair. So
which makes sense, because if you had like a repair pack, a salvage pack, a mining pack, blah blah, you get where I'm going with this. You can just pick the gameplays you want and add them together. You're done. Not this buy all the Aegis complete pack doesn't make sense as an example, because there's too many different gameplays, and there's too many double ups. Now I know this is a
Right.
double up, but
They've got double, triple, quadruple up, but
yeah, but that's because all you want is that. When you look at Aegis, though, it's got salvage, it's got combat. You got multiples in there that just they conflict in a way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting attacked by multiple cats right now. What is wrong with you? What is going on? Get out of here! Hey, get out of here! You get out of here! Right, sorry. Anyway,
so that was my thinking. So yeah, it's short, small, and it's complete opposite of what I've got.
Yeah. You got any comments on this, Billion? Any issues, problems? How crazy is aggro? Oh, don't tell me I already know.
We already know I'm crazy, but
No, I like it. I think and when we get to my pack, you'll see I kind of went a little intense with mine. But I like that idea that you talked about where you have these packs that are meant for a role, and then you could just add the packs together that you want.
Yeah.
And I think this would lead towards that. And I also like the simplicity of it. Like this is one role of gameplay. If you want to do this role and have all the ships that can do it, here you go. And I think that's going to help. That's what a lot of people, are interested in, that one type of gameplay. Like I've met people, and I'm sure you have as well, that I only want to do medical gameplay, or I only want to do support gameplay, or so on and so forth. So I think this leads into that really well.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to yours then. All right. So explain yourself, sir.
So this is actually I call this the solo option pack. And the reason I came up with it, well, I had some people comment on my channel about wanting a solo pack, like just something that's for solo players. And so I was like, well, how would I build that out if I was trying to do kind of the complete pack thing like you were talking about? But not necessarily, because there's some options here. So I started with the ships that you can do solo, but there's an option for multi-role gameplay. So a lot of these, that's why solo option and not just like solo complete pack or something like that, right? So the Liberator has been said to, it may not be the best option, but they've said you can operate the Liberator solo. We'll have to wait until it's in game, obviously, to check that. But it's ship transport, obviously vehicle transport, and allows you to do those things by yourself. It may not be the most optimal thing to do it by yourself, but you can, and it has those defense turrets on it as well, right? So you have a little bit of defense to help you along with the weapons that I believe some are pilot controlled.
Well, just on your Liberator, the Liberator's 1 to 2 crew. So to actually run the ship, that is less crew for what's on the Crucible. And the Crucible was originally built as being able to be solo, but it's actually got a max crew of 8. So if the Crucible can be used as a one-person ship, this is certainly a ship that is one person, because it's 50% of the crew is one person. So you're going to be able to get them more out of that ship than you would out of a Crucible with one person. So
yeah.
And
the A2, we've already seen people using that in-person solo or in-game solo. And so the A2, you can drop bombs, which negated me from having to put an A1 in. You can carry 200 plus SU of cargo, which negated me needing to put the Taurus in, because I had a Connie Taurus in there, and I was like, well, this can carry 200 SU of cargo, so you can take this with you for that. And then I was kind of saying I don't really need the C2 because I could put a tank in this, but you could still make room for a C2. And I think another thing that I did with this pack is I made it to where, and I'll talk about the price later, but I made it to where you get extra things if you buy the war bond versus buying it with credits. And you also save more money buying it with war bond than you do with credits, as per usual. The A2.
Just realizing I didn't add mine up. I don't know how much mine costs. Sorry.
Well, actually, I didn't add mine up either.
Yeah, we're slack. We don't care about the price. It's just the ships cost. It's free.
But yeah, so the A2 was really just there's 3 ships that it kind of can take care of, and it can be flown solo. Has the size 5 weapons that you can shoot with. Plus, like I said, the option to bring more people with you. The Galaxy is also another ship that replaces 3 other ships. You know, you don't need an Expanse, you don't need a Pioneer, you don't need an Arastra. There's the Mole also as well, which I forgot to do the orange version, but we could do the black version too. But yeah, so that one.
I've just kind of realized, like, if it didn't have some of the smaller ships, you could have called this the scaled gameplay pack. You know what I mean? So it allows you the variety of player type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So part of the reason I'll get to the smaller ships.
Yep.
The Galaxy specifically it comes with the way I had it set up is if you get the war bond, you get to choose a module. If you don't get the war bond, it just comes with the base, and you got to buy the module later. But essentially, it opens up, you know, at least three or four types of gameplay for you as a solo player, because it does have a minimum crew of 1.
Yep.
Depending on the gameplay, you might want to have, you know, some other people with you, but that's why it's the solo option pack, right? And then I'm trying to move down by cost. The believe it would be the Corsair. No, it would be the Mole next. So the Mole, I was gonna do Prospector because obviously that's solo, but I think a lot of people have figured out you can use the Mole solo. Obviously it's more optimal to have people with you, and this is the solo option pack, so I wanted to include a ship, and I thought the Arastra was too big. You probably can do it solo, but until it's in game, I didn't want to stretch it that far, and also the cost of this pack was getting a little high. So
you probably can do that with the Vulture, because eventually there'll be like a medium-sized Vulture thing that comes in, and that'll be more like the Mole. Yeah,
exactly, and that's the only reason the Mole's in there. The Reclaimer I thought was just a bit outside of the solo option. I thought it was like, yes, you can run it solo, but it's a task to run it solo. It's not like running a Mole where it's just hop in another seat. This is, you know, it's a little bit more involved. Yeah, and the Corsair is like the gunship. Because I didn't have the Connie in there, I was like, well, I need a different gunship, but it also serves the role of being able to carry a Nursa, which is also in there. And that's the main reason the Nursa is in there, because the Corsair with a Nursa in it, I think, is one of the best combinations in the game right now. So I was like, well, if you're a solo player, you take a Nursa with you. It opens up a lot of possibilities with the Corsair. And the C8. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, the only, like, I'm sitting here trying to look for double ups, right? Like, which is just something I do with FMFs and stuff. And I think the only one I probably can really bring down to an issue would be the Corsair and the Cuddy Blue, because I feel they're too similar. Because you can essentially just put bounty hunting pods in the back of the Corsair and do the same thing. And it's a gunship, so it would probably be better at it than the Cuddy Blue anyway.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was the only thing I was thinking of, except the Cuddy Blue has the quantum dampener, and that's what I was thinking about because I was going to do either the Mantis. I was kind of struggling with the Mantis, Cuddy Blue.
Then maybe if you took like the Antares or another ship that has one, and not take the Cutlass, so essentially roll it into the Hornet. So essentially,
I was thinking of that too. I wanted one single seater fighter, just to have like one true solo ship. Like this is only a solo ship, and I was like, well, what's the best fighter? You know, I'm just thinking of 3.2, 3.1.
Yeah.
Like, what's the best fighter? This is one of the best ones that I think you can get people to get without, you know, pissing a lot of people off, because I originally had the F8, and I was like, that's probably going to piss people off if you have that in a pack. And just like, anybody can get it as long as they spin this. So I went with the F7C. And I also put, if you get the war bond, you can choose an upgrade to an F7A. And you know, if that's what the goal is you want the people to spend more money, I feel like you got to give them a little bit more. The Vulture, I think, was an obvious choice. It's just the gameplay of I don't think I've met anybody who didn't have fun doing salvage gameplay. And even though it only has the one bed, I'm pretty sure you can operate this with 2 people, you know, and go back and forth. So the option there, the Vulcan was an obvious choice, just if people are open to that. And plus, both of those ships have 12 SEU of cargo. So they double as like, because I was going to put an Avenger Titan in here, so to speak. And I was like, well, I don't need that if I have these 2 ships that also can carry slightly more cargo than those Avenger Titans. And then, the last one is the C8. Oh, I have the C8 and the Rock. The Rock it fits in the back of a lot of these ships. So I was like, well, that fits. And that opens up your ability to do cave diving stuff, which I know a lot of solo players might be into. And that's probably going to be where some of the good gems and stuff are inside the caves. Obviously, mining on planets as well. And the C8 was because it fits in the back of a lot of these as well, giving more of that respawn gameplay, opening up some more possibilities for the solo player.
Agrid, your thoughts?
My thoughts were the Galaxy with a medical module actually has a garage for an Ursa and the hangar for the C8. Do you really need your gunship? Specifically because it can take the Ursa, the Nursa.
Yeah.
The Liberator also, because it's got the garage and the hangar pods, does the role for transporting those smaller ships on the vehicles.
So you could almost lose the A2 as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the A2 is because it's the bomber variant, isn't it? So
it is the bomber variant, but
so that's what people like. But
the thing is the cost, right? You could essentially get 3 C2s for one bomber. You chop it because of price. Yeah.
And if you look, and then so gunship wise, I'm not a fan of a Corsair because I don't. So that's probably part of my reticence there.
Yeah.
It's not Old Man Heston approved, man. The UEC girls, they don't like the aesthetics. Yeah.
That's right. I don't like the aesthetics. It flies like a pizza box,
But again, you can.
I think it has to fly like a box though because of all those guns, right? Five size 5s, right?
You could rotate it to like a Connie, and you wouldn't be that far off the mark either. So that's I do like
me.
I do think you've hit a lot of different gameplays, so I can see what you're trying to do. It's just that I would have gone about it slightly differently. But again, different people like different things, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's shit. It's just different from how I would have done it. And I think on value is probably where I'd struggle, because that A2 is really hard to get behind on that price. But all the others, I look at them and go, they're pretty reasonably priced for what they are, comparable to other ships. Like, for example, like Agrid said, that Liberator, you can do so much more with that than you can do with an A2 bomber, right? Because it does the cargo, does the vehicles, it does all that. So I can see the thought on the Liberator, but I can't give that to the A2. Much like the Cutlass Blue and the Corsair, that they're a double up. And as Agrid said, you can just kind of slightly shift the
only in terms of what you're saying for the Corsair.
You could probably actually, I was talking about packs, Agrid, and adding to it. If you drop the Corsair, that would then allow you to pick the daily driver of your choice. So you could go MSR, you could go Connie, you could go Corsair. Not Connie. Yeah, you get my point, right?
If you're looking at the options, you go pick your daily driver.
And I think the other thing, this is very much a pack for the now, because like I said, you add a medium salvage or a medium repair,
right?
These two instantly piss off, right? And they become more like the mole. So what you're essentially trying to do is the medium. Like one of the things me and Agrid have always said is the best ships in the game are going to be the medium and the large, because they scale up and they scale down, where the capitals only scale down and the symbols only scale up. So they don't have as much versatility. So that's what I'm seeing, Agrid. I don't know if you see that as well, but like he's got a lot of medium ships, and then these ones start to go into the large, and then when you get up to the A2, it's too much at the top end, and I think that's why that one fails, and some of the smaller ones fail. But I see your thought process, so I can see exactly where you're going. It's just that we don't have the ships to feel this out. You tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what I feel. It's like I want to be able to do this, but they're just not quite there yet.
And I definitely hear your points. The A2 was a struggle to put in there. It was mainly because when I looked at my final list, I think I had 18 ships in there, and I was trying to reduce them, and I was trying to replace them. So I had the A1, the Taurus, and I believe the C2, and I was like, well, if I just put this in there, I don't really need a C2 because I have the Liberator. I don't need the A1 and the Taurus if I get the if I get the A2.
Yeah.
But that's why I said the price is really important on this too, because if I'm paying the total cost of this is $31.70. So that's how much these all cost if you buy them standalone, right? If you, and the way I had it is if you buy, because it's a lot of ships, it's 12.
I know the name of
10
this.
ships.
I know the name of this pack now. It's the damn pack. That's
right. So this might be more for the whales or whatever, but I had it at 2,500 if you buy it with credits, and then I had it at 2,200 if you bought it War Bond, and if you bought it with War Bond, you get paint, you get all the paint packs that are available for each one of these ships, and of course, and you get to choose a module for your galaxy along with that.
And I think like the Daily Driver, you know how you were thinking long and hard about a single seat fighter?
Yeah.
Same thing. Don't include it because then the person can choose. So I think that's something CIG don't do. They often tend to double down and they're like, oh, here, have 3 different fighters. Like rather than letting someone choose, like saying, oh, we highly recommend, or what if you had at the sales page, it's like, if you buy one of these 3 fighters with this pack, we'll give you 50% off. Like, that's the type of shit they should be doing. Like it's essentially called upselling, but it's like, if you buy this pack today, you can also get one of these 3 fighters at 50% off, and that could be the discount, right? So the pack itself isn't discounted, but if you buy the pack, or you could even go, you get one of these fighters for free. That's the discount. Yeah. Right. So they haven't done anything like that before. So again, we're trying to think outside the box here. That's what this kind of episode's about, right? And it could be the same thing. Like you and if it's not the fighter, it could be pick your Daily Driver. You know, that type of thing. Yeah.
The other thing with the pack is, because CIG give LTI once you go over $1,000. If you want to give your ships LTI, or that the pack only have to go to $1,000. So the A2, because of the price, again, it's a hard sell for me. I'm looking at that and I'm going, it's a ship for solo play. Where's your torpedo bomber? Where's your Eclipse or your Retaliator?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Right, so
I didn't even think of that one. Yeah, you're right.
So,
well, the Retaliator, I've seen people use it solo, but I thought with the rework it was gonna be less solo. But the Eclipse is definitely one that I could have put in there. Yeah, I didn't. Again, when I think about guns instead of torpedo bombs.
Again, I'm like, leave the fighter out so they can pick which one they want. So they can go the Eclipse, they can go the F8, they can go the Hornet, they can go whatever they want. But again, I think that would be a really cool thing to, if anyone at CIG is watching, a thing where they pick the fighter that they want rather than giving them all the fighters. I know you guys are trying to upsell and make them buy more, but you got to think it from a pocketbook standpoint. People just don't need multiple fighters that do the same thing.
The other thing is, the Retaliator would be a ship that you could replace your Corsair. You know, you could go your again, you've got options with your modules. You could go transport modules, so you've got cargo. You could go torpedo module, troop module. So you got and then if we've got cargo pods or bounty hunter pods, your Retaliator becomes your bounty hunter ship as well. So and if you've got crew, it becomes your gunship because it's got lots of turrets. So it can actually roll into numerous roles. But again, it's the type of ship you could use as an option over the Corsair, the Connie, the Retaliator. They all kind of have similar types of things, but they also excel in different areas. So
to Execute's point, I think a part of what I was also thinking and why I went with some of the smaller ships is because you can do the upgrade thing. Yeah. So if you didn't particularly like the Corsair, you can still get the you can do a little bit of an upgrade. The same thing with the F7C, you can upgrade that. If you can have the Vulcan, and you can have the Vulcan and you can have the Vulture. And when they come up with that slightly larger version of those, you can upgrade those into those. And so I was also thinking of the upgrade paths for some of these. And the same thing with the with the Cutlass Blue. Like if you want, you know, the Scorpius or the Zeus, I think that leaves you a little bit of room to upgrade to those things. And for people who don't like the vehicles, like, you know, the C8, the Ursa and the Rock, right? Those are just some LTI tokens that you'll just get out of this pack. That you can upgrade. So I was thinking of that in some cases, but I think I see your point with the A2 and the Corsair, and you could definitely swap some things out. And I think that is a good way to do it, is to have people be able to swap.
If you kind of actually, so I don't normally usually move these images, but if you actually did it like this all of a sudden, right, and just ignore these small ones because these could all be chopped, right? But if you actually split that into 2 packs, that would make a lot more sense, because I'm actually sitting here counting them. There's literally 12 ships. That's a lot of LTI tokens, and that's one of the main problems Agrid will tell you I have with packs, is trying to roll things into packs is an absolute nightmare because you are locked to that many ships. You want to try and utilize them as possible, but if you cut that into 2 packs, that becomes a lot more manageable, because then you've only, like here, you've only got to, like, if you want to upgrade, obviously you're not going to want to upgrade all of them, but you've got a lot less ships to upgrade, where if you've got 12, you know, you all of a sudden, I'd have to say at minimum there's 4 ships there you're going to probably want to upgrade at some point.
Oh, look, and the problem, look, this is the biggest problem with packs.
Yeah.
And it's upgrading ships in packs. And if you're upgrading a single ship in a pack, that's not a problem. Yeah. Because you just do the single upgrade. The problem comes when you upgrade, when you've upgraded a ship and then you upgrade another ship. If you make a mistake and you've got to undo the upgrade.
Look, going back to our grids, just having 4. Even if you even if this is a repair pack and you only want 1 repair ship, it's instantly kind of like, you go look at yours, it's instantly less you've got to upgrade. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. But, so that's my point. Yeah.
And it becomes less chance of errors, because if you've upgraded 2 or 3 ships and then you make an error, to undo it, you've either got to go for customer support and hope that they will be able to assist you, or melt the pack and start again and lose any of the CCUs you've already applied. And
you're essentially describing we don't know what's going to happen in time. And if we go, say, look over the last 5 years, all the ships that have come out, we would never be able to predict it. We can kind of work out things like now, like there's more than likely going to be a medium repair and a medium salvage, right? Because they've said they're going to try and get one in every category at every size. But again, you don't know the manufacturer, you don't know the way it's going to work, you know, stuff like that. So I'm more likely to bring this down just purely based on the number value. And also the other part that you've obviously rightly probably realized is the cost. Again, if you had $2,000, even if you just cut it in half, right? Because you said it was $3,000, 2 $1,500 packs, that's a lot more tangible to buy, because then you can buy one after the other over time. So price of buying, like the Aegis Complete pack, the only people that buy that is people that essentially melt every ship they've got and then buy the Aegis Complete pack because it costs like
even Legata's pack is along that line. You know, people don't go the massive big pack. Well, very few people, I imagine, go, I'm going to buy the Legata's pack today. And
Well,
they're literally melting all the other stuff they've got, and they do it as a consolidation because they want everything, but it's also shrinking that what's in their hangar to be a single thing.
Now we're going to move on to mine. I didn't want to go too deep, and I also, like Agrid, went back to the start of the game, the beginning of the game, and the way I planned it out was I went, right, I'm going to go in economically, and I'm going to set myself up so I can earn as much money as possible to buy all the ships I want, right?
Well, you're the miser. Okay.
I'm the what?
The miser's pack. I'm a dirty miser. I want all the money.
Is that a law thing, misers? I don't know, but yeah.
You know, neither screws with a miser.
Yeah, so this is where I went. So I don't know what to call this, and I probably call it the economics pack part 1, because also kind of a bit like what happened with Billionaires, where I was talking about the Vulcan and the Vulture. There are other ships that I would add to this that just don't exist, like a capital refinery and a capital gas collector that don't exist yet, right? you know, the Crucible's in there obviously because it repairs all these capital ships, but also it is a capital repair ship. The Endeavor, this is the other thing that was missing from yours that I can't believe you told us you were really into science. You didn't have an Endeavor on your list, like, or even I know again,
It's not solo.
but again, the ships that are missing. Well, you could have taken the Sen, but also there's no medium science ship yet. So again, I understood why it wasn't there. The Orion is, I'm going to be honest with you, probably the most powerhouse economic thing in the entire game it'll start with this ship because it just is so big and it eats so much stuff and just nothing else comes close. The Reclaimer, the Kind, the same thing on salvage, but I just don't think it's going to even come close to the Orion personally. And then the Pioneer, the ability to build your bases and set yourself up, I think is going to be really strong as well. And I also like the fact that it was just a ship that has only ever kind of been on its own. They've never ever really, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only other pack that appears in it, there's no Consolidate Outland Complete pack yet. So I've never seen it in a pack aggregate. There's no other pack other than like a Legatus pack or something like that where it's everything. There's no real big massive pack the Pioneer's ever appeared in. And I just thought,
not with the Pioneer.
Yeah, so I just found this as 5 really strong ships that would economically get you set up for the game. Oh, it also comes with an exclusive Execute skin for the Reclaimer. I just thought it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no Algrid skin. They not good enough. Yeah. Actually, if they made one, it wouldn't be Algrid, it'd be Old Man Heston. Yeah. And it would come with a free, here we go, fuzzy dice that hangs from it. Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, feel free to rip that apart. Tell me what's wrong with it. Go nuts. It's perfect.
I
thanks.
like the pack. I like the idea of it. I have every one of these ships in my fleet, so I have no problem with the ships you chose. And I especially like that they're all geared toward, like, none of them step on each other. And so I really like that part of it. The thing I think about first though is what's your entry level ship? What's the ship that you start with? Day one, I bought this pack, I'm starting day one. What do I do day one? I can't afford the crew yet if I'm going to have an NPC crew. I can't afford the AI blades. I can't afford, or maybe I don't have 20 friends to play with.
We've always talked about this. You could almost take out, probably the Endeavor's the only one you couldn't, because also I didn't include modules. Right, but you could, let's just take the Orion or the Reclaimer. They're probably the best two, and the Crucible would do this as well, right? You can struggle through in a high security area to get one quest done, and then use that to buy any ship you want. So you could take this and then earn a Prospector, and then just go out in the Prospector on your own until you make friends. The Crucible, think about this day one. How many people are going to be going out in a repair ship, and how many people's ships are going to break down day one? Nobody's going to be going out, or next to nobody's going to go out in a repair ship, but you're going to make an absolute killing.
And even if you, like, I always struggle with when you say you'll be able to do one mission and then get any ship you want. But I know the idea you're saying. It's going to be a lot quicker for you to struggle through on the missions on those big ships and make money and then buy the ships you want, rather than starting with that small ship and earning up to get the ships you want. But I think you're right. You take a Reclaimer. People take the Reclaimer out already and do salvage in the Reclaimer by themselves. People, and make money. So I can see that.
Just real quick, like I said, you could also add to this though.
Yeah.
You again, like I said, it's a smaller pack. I think that's the fundamental problem that I think we'd all agree. As soon as there's a big ship in the pack, for some reason they bloat like crazy. They like the company pack is like $2,000, and it's just like it's got like I think it's got like 8 ships. I'd have to go back and check. It's been a hot minute, but again, 5 ships like that. I'm just trying to add this up in my head. Hang on, but while you're saying what you're saying, I'll add it up. So yeah,
my addition to that pack would be, where's your merchantman? Because
I left that out deliberately. Because I was like, well, if you don't like alien ships, then you could get a whole C or you could get a whole D instead. Again, that was going back to what I was saying about allowing people to choose.
But I'm not looking at it in terms of the cargo capacity. I'm looking at it in terms of the stop capacity.
Yep, but I'm also
looking at it because of the way in which Reclaimer.
Hang on, I'm looking at it also based on cost. You don't really need a cargo ship to start out. You can just take the ship to where you need to sell it. So that's why I chopped it. Again, I was trying to chop this down to as small as possible.
Yep. So
your point is totally valid, though. 'Cause
I would have ditched a Pioneer. I know it's the unique ship in that pack, and it's never been put in, and it's a base building ship, and I'd have put the Banner Merchantman in, or a ship, or the smaller shop ship that comes in, because you've got the Endeavour that if you put the modules in with Super Collider, which can modify components, you've got the Crucible that can repair salvage components and stuff. You've got Reclaimer that can gather the resources to repair ships. You've got the mining ship that can go and do stuff. And then you've got your BMM, and that completes this kind of circle of ships that synergize together. So you've got repair, supply, repairing stuff, and then giving it to the merchantman to sell. You've got damaged stuff going to reclaim, being repaired, being updated in a Crucible. You've got the stuff being mined and salvage going to the repair ship too. So it all synergizes together to give you this complete circle of economics, or is where I was thinking. So that's the only reason I'd have looked at the BMM. I know there are people who don't like Alien. But then and at the moment it's the BMM or the Kraken for
Ironclad,
privateer, and
Kraken,
I expect there'll be a smaller style ships there at some point. But
I've done the quick math. It's $2,525. So it's not the cheap, and that's without discounts, right? So
that's without discounts. Yeah.
So I don't know what they'd sell it as. They'll probably sell it for 2-3 or something like that. But it's not the cheapest pack. But again, it's just five really core ships that I'd go behind. But I totally agree what you mean about the Pioneer. I just wanted Pioneer is just not in a lot of packs, and I think again it speaks to that whole thing about it's just they don't kind of want people to buy it because they don't know what it's going to do yet. And I mean that they didn't know how base building was going to work. For a long time.
in terms of base building, like you could almost leave for base building. You could leave your Endeavour out. And have those 4 ships, and have the Orion Redeemer, Orion Reclaimer, Crucible, and Pioneer, and they work together again as a synergy because you're mining and refining, you're salvaging, and
you could
build using those resources to build, and then the Crucible is also repairing any buildings that get wear and tear. So you've got this nice synergy of those 4 ships as well.
You could do that as well. Absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely see a case for dropping the Crucible and the Pioneer. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we thought about packs differently as well. I think I'm learning from both of you. Like, I think when I thought of my pack, I was thinking like this is all of the ships that you would need. Like you don't need to buy anything else. You don't have anything outside of this. Like if this is for the person who's like, I'm going to get rid of all my ships and turn them into credits, or I'm going to buy this pack and it's going to be the only thing I buy for this particular purpose. But I think you guys brought something up that's really interesting, is like most people who buy these packs are probably just looking to get the discounts or the unique ship or something, not necessarily replace their whole fleet with it. So I think that's something that I didn't really think about when I was creating mine, is like, oh, I don't need to have every single ship. I should just have like the primary ships that I think people should get in a pack. So I now going forward, when I think about this, I might think about it that way.
Well, what you've essentially described there is because there's a lot that goes into the FMFs or the Fix My Fleets in the background, right? That 30-minute show could have been 30 minutes back-end work, or 7 hours, or multiple months of sessions. Like we've done sessions that were like 3 or 4 sessions over 2 months, that were probably multiple hours each. But then we've done other people that just walk in and they trust us completely and just say, tell me what to do, right? And again, we just tell them what we would do, and we also look at what they are saying to us. Sometimes it's just like an intervention. They literally say it to us, and we just almost repeat verbatim what they've said back to them, what they said to us, so.
And sometimes the FMF is totally different. It's they come in and say, this is what I want to do. What are the best ways to get there? And you put up half a dozen answers, and they go, oh, yeah, right, bang, 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 bang. And it just falls into place. And other times it's, okay, yeah, I've got to go away and think about that. And then they come back and say, I've been thinking about this. And it really is that iterative process of just
Everyone's
I'm
different.
helping people work out what people want and just
Yeah.
being a sounding board for them often in terms of.
Yep. It
Where-
really is like FMS are so tailored to the person. It's not funny.
I know it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, but it really is.
No.
No,
I think so. I think when you start each FMF episode, you're like, hey, this is just what we suggest. You know, you can go and do what you want. You know,
Yeah.
so I think you kind of carry it that way.
So many people look at them and say, "Oh, you've got a crucible in there."
Yeah. But it comes back to like a lot, and you'll often see them in an episode where someone says, I just want as much gameplay as possible. There is not a single ship that gives you more gameplay than that thing, which is also why it's in this pack, right? Because
which is why I have 3 of them. So
yeah. So, but Alga's totally right. It doesn't really kind of, like I said, it's an economics pack. It doesn't technically fit in that economic thing, but it just gives you, it gives you medical and all the things. I'm not going to go over them, but it just gives you so much gameplay, and at that price, it's just so hard to pass up right now. But I totally valid that it can be cut, though. I don't disagree with anything you've said there in regards to the Pioneer. And again, the Crucible. Like if we literally made an Inforunners pack, it would probably just be the Crucible and the Endeavor, and we would just sell that. But then if it was like the the advanced pack, then would probably add the Reclaimer and the Orion and not include the Pioneer. So this is I kind of did start with the one off stream, which was the Crucible and the Reclaimer and the Orion, and then not the Orion, sorry, the Endeavor, and then added the other 2. What other ships do I find really, really strong? And they're the only other 2 that I could find. And for the same reasons we kind of sell your fighters and stuff like that, I just didn't add any of the smaller ships, because to me, if you want them, you either earn them in game or just add them to your pack, as in just buy them individually. They're so cheap. You're not going to get those mega discounts anyway. And I think everyone would agree, when you're going into packs, you're generally spending in the thousands, and you are trying to get discounts because you're spending so much. And again, no offense to Aggro, but I'm just going to use yours as an example. You're not going to get a lot of savings on this one.
No. I'm even looking at it, and is it over 1,000?
No, I don't think it is. Like,
no, it's not.
350, 220.
I don't think it's over 600.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll it up. 350.
Yeah, it's about 7 something.
220, or is it 200 for the Vulcan?
200.
Well, 200 at the moment. Yeah. Okay. Cool. 150. And then
the SRV. Yeah.
What's the MPUV? That's like 40, isn't it?
Yeah,
45, I think.
45.
Something like that.
I forgot that you had the SRV. I thought that was an MPUV. That's why I was looking at it. But yeah. So yeah, that might be close. Might be like 800.
It's 590.
Yeah.
By my math.
Wait.
590.
No, it can't be 590 because the Crucible's 350.
Oh shit! Hang on, I've done something right. Yeah. Okay.
Crucible's 350.
Got to carry the
200.
one. All right. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
550. Hang on. So that's 550. Yeah, I missed. Yeah. So add another 200. So it's 790. 790.
790.
Yeah. I wrote it down and I kind of crossed it out because I went 220 and then I crossed it out. So then when I went to add it up, I didn't grab the 200 from the Vulcan. So yeah. So, explaining my crappy math. Sorry.
But yeah. I was just looking at the ships that would do that, and you don't need the MPUV in that pack. The MPUV is just fluff. Really. I
think I think when you add those smaller ships, and like most people are like, yeah, you can take those out. I think also like adding those in is like you said, it's fluff. It helps pad the price a little bit. So it's like, you don't need these ships, but it keeps you from having to buy these ships in game.
That's my main problem with CIG's packs, though, is sometimes to the point that they have so much fluff, it detracts from actually ever wanting to buy them in the first place. Like I know that it doesn't exist yet, but like if there was a complete repair pack, where's the tow truck? Like the vehicle, right? That would be the next thing they add, right? And again, it's just I can understand the vehicle, but then it really makes the SRV redundant because you've got the ones above it and below it, so you're almost like tripling down. So yeah, but Agri's right. I love the way that we both went back to the beginning, Agri. That tells me we're both on the same thought process thing. but not, you know, and Billions is not off either. Like, it's interesting to see someone else's perspective. I really like that his is tried to include everything that someone would want. But I think you've also seen why I said cut it up. Because if you cut it up,
Yeah.
it's got economic. It just makes it more swallowable.
It's easier for people to acquire.
This is the most CIG like of the three. The CIG is more likely to make yours than the two that we've suggested. Because to them, they'd look at this and go, "That's too good. They're getting all these things they want. Oh, we can't have that." and then average is just like, "Yeah, that's too small." You know, but
yeah. I'm the corporate speak in this one.
I could see them liking that pack because A, it's under $1,000, so you don't have LTI, and B, people can buy it because it's cheap. But because it's under $1,000, people won't buy it because it doesn't have LTI.
Yeah.
And
but because it's a pack though, Algrid, they will give it a LTI with it because it's the first time it's ever been offered as a pack. If this is a new pack, it'll come with LTI because that's how they justify them. Because it's a pack and it's never been offered. It's when it's never been offered before.
If it was reduced, if it was sold at the present, yes, they'd have LTI because the tractor's in it, and the tractor's got LTI, so the pack gets LTI. But yeah, it's but I'd love to see that pack, even if it didn't have a tractor with LTI. And even if it was just sold as with just the value of those ships with LTI, that would sell because people would go, okay, I can get those ships with LTI.
So I'd like to see. I wonder if that's something in the future they may do. They may reach out to content creators and, you know, give like I said with mine, where it had an exclusive reclaimer skin or whatever. That'd be some kind of cool. Like I could see a board gamer pack that, because his favorite ship's the MSR, so he's got like this super bright yellow MSR skin or what, you know, or what, you know, pick your content creator, you know, and it, you know, even if it's just some fuzzy dice or something that speaks to them, that, you know, that kind of pulls that in, or even again a massive content creator pack with a whole bunch of skins or whatever.
The other thing I did consider for fluff to add to the repair pack was the old hanger flare table, the repair table.
Yep.
Well,
that's because I put this back to you, Algrid. I think you might have missed a ship. I've just realised. I'm going to go back. You've missed a repair ship.
I've got the repair ship.
Oh.
You just realised too, didn't you? You don't have the Ironclad Assault. You missed it.
Yeah, the garage.
Oh well, if you put the Ironclad Assault in there, it's you've got your
exactly.
There's your $8,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Ironclad Assault didn't appeal to me. But
it's Drake. I'm too fancy for that.
That's exactly why you didn't. Now you know why you didn't put it in there.
Michael and Top Hat.
I really think the reason I didn't put it in there is I haven't really looked at the Ironclad. It came out. You know, so I haven't really looked at it. I haven't purchased any ships this year. CitizenCon has curtailed my purchasing.
So Billion, what would you like to hear from people in the comments below?
What is your goal when you look at a pack? Like, are you looking to supplement your fleet? Are you looking to get a pack that's going to replace everything in your fleet, with maybe a minor adjustment or two? Or are you looking for just like, you know, my favorite ship included, like, you know, including that Pioneer in there, so, or maybe getting like an Idris M, you know, because you can't, you know, these are the harder ships to get. So like, what would you want out of a pack that would make you be like, yes, I want to buy that pack?
I'm really glad you said that, because I was sitting here struggling going, if I just say what's a pack you would make, everyone's just going to pick the ships that they like, because then they get they get everything they want, and then they just get a discount. But what you've said is the best way to say it. What is that's the perfect way to say it. What do you look for in a pack, and why does that speak to you? Because then you can take what you've said and apply it to other people, not just yourself. Because that's the other thing that's really hard with building a pack, is you got to take yourself out of it, and that's really hard to do. Put yourself in other people's shoes. So I really love that you spoke to that.
Yeah.
Agrid, what about you, mate?
Yeah. What are the things you look for in a pack? Is it LTI? Is it just LTI? Is it particular ships? Is it the gameplay? Is it the discount? Is it the CCU options? Do you look for LTI tokens in a pack? So there's so many little things that come in, and you see that you often see that when we do FMFs, the types of questions that come in with that. So yeah.
I've just come up with the ultimate pack. It's called This Irks Me. And it's just all of Origin and all of Drake in one pack. Oh, glorious.
It irks me, yeah.
Oh, you guys would rip me apart if you did my fix my fleet, you might rip me apart then.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, you always have these people that say, oh, I hate Drake, I hate Origin, blah, blah, blah. So you just put it all in one pack, or you know, it's the clash of the, I don't know, you come up with some cool name, and it's just all the, you know, the must-haves from Drake and Origin. I reckon that'd be hilarious.
And you put the ships that you can't get normally in it, like,
yeah,
you know,
890 jumps, Krakens, and shit like that, and just, the bigger ones. Yeah, cut off all the smaller ones and just have all the bigger ones, but I reckon it'd be so funny.
Because the people who love those brands, yeah.
Yeah, because there would be people that, like, I guarantee you, there are people as many people out there that like Drake, that like Origin, and there are the people that love Origin and hate Drake, and there's those that love Drake and hate Origin. But it'd just be really interesting to see how many people would buy the pack that just had both. Because it'd be the best of both worlds. It'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will never have a Drake ship. I will never have an Origin ship. And
So yeah.
To get that one Drake ship, they've got to get the
Yeah. So in the comments, if you do want to leave a pack that you think is good, just remember kind of what Billion started it. Algor and I agree, obviously. Think of other people. It's really hard to do that. And kind of, I guess if you're going to make a pack, what I want to always see there when I read in the comments is I want you to justify why other people would like this pack. That's the comment I want to read. So if you've just put in, this is my pack, and it doesn't have that, I probably won't reply. But I want to see what other people will see in this. I want to see your thought process. Because you even with, you know, all of our packs, and we all had things that we change, none of them are wrong, because again, it's your own personal thing. But on reflection, all of us went, oh yeah, shit, maybe I should change something, and that's the strength of going through it with other people. So again, if you make a pack, put that pack out to your friend, and I guarantee you, your friend will say, I wouldn't take this, and this, and then they'll tell you why. Because in a really weird way, building a pack is a little bit like a mini FMF. That's why we kind of approach this like an FMF, because it's got that same kind of thought structure where you're trying to put someone else's, like, especially when me and Algrid do it, right? We've got to tailor it to that person that we're doing it to, don't we, Algrid? So again, we're building a pack, but we're not building it for one person. We're trying to build it for many, and it becomes really hard to do that. And that's why I started saying things like you've got to cut things out to give them choices. And CIG, I think, what I'm getting to is, I think this is the problem I have with CIG packs, right? Is like you pointed out earlier, Billion, they just put heaps of fluff in, and it balloons the pack to the point that it just becomes undesirable.
Right.
It's by trying to appeal to everyone, by putting all the pieces in, it appeals to no one because it becomes so expensive.
Yeah. And things like the Aegis, the Orion, and you know, the manufacturer complete packs speak to that, because you get all these little ships, and you get multiple double ups. You just don't want multiple of the same gameplay, especially when you're trying to get bang for buck. And again, isn't that the whole thing of a pack? You are trying to save money, not bloat. So
the tiny ships kill your savings.
Yeah.
And I when I was putting my pack together, I was like, oh well, this fits in this, and I wasn't even thinking about, like, oh yeah, this might actually make the price way more than it needs to be by $200 or $300.
And my pack is only repair, so it's got double up. So it's.
I did only think of that as we were talking about in the episode, but with the fighter, I think that would be a really cool thing if they added, like you buy a pack, and if you just happen to add ships at the point of sale, that they give you a discount. And it doesn't have to be 50%. I don't know what that is. But that's just something that they haven't done. And I think that might be a good way to upsell things. It kind of gives you a bit of customability to your packs. Now, it doesn't have to be added. It just means at time of purchase, we will give you a discount because you're buying a pack. And again, I don't know what that limit is. Like, I'm just going to toss a number out there. Say it's over $1,000 for a pack. If you spend $1,000 today, we will give you a discount off this, because that encourages people to spend more.
Right.
And $1,000 is not a small amount of money, is it?
They could step it up too. It could be at different price points. Like
absolutely,
every $100 you spend, you get more of a discount. So that encourages people to spend the most amount. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know.
Anyway,
All right. Where can people find you on the internet, Billion? Or
Oh yeah,
Ninjas?
so I'm
Sorry.
Billionaire Ninjas on YouTube and Twitch, and Ninjas Leap on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay, cool. And what type of content do you do? I know you do a little bit of similar stuff to ourselves, but is there anything else that's kind of more uniquely you?
Right now I'm trying to review every ship by CitizenCon. I'm also going to be at CitizenCon, so I'll have some content there. I'll get to meet these fine gentlemen. And also I try to do. I also did a component videos, which involved a lot of research. I couldn't find any other component videos on YouTube, so I think I did power plants and coolers so far, but I'm working on. I have some more in the works.
Yeah.
So,
I think
some unique content.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot more of those once engineering comes in.
Right.
It needs that, but yeah. All right. With that then, he's been Agrid, he's been Ninjas.
and he's been executed, and we're out of here.
See you, citizens. Say goodbye, Ninja.
Yeah.
Bye, Ninja.
Agrid, you're freaking terrible, Agrid. All right.
Yeah, I know.